Hey guys! There's a beautiful air train siren. Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Profex. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be comparing two incredible balisongs, the NRB Vortex and the Svix Co Zephyr. Now, I got this balisong recently, the Zephyr. You may have seen the review video, or the unboxing video, rather, I did on it recently. And I have had the Vortex for almost a year. Close to, I think, 11 months, so almost a year. And I just wanted to say that before we get into it. I've had this for about a day, less than, and I've had this for a year. So just keep that in mind. This one is much more recent, but still, I'll get into it more, but I have heard that these are very similar in quality. So to start off, here's the play on both balisongs. You can see it there. So that's pretty good. And then for tap on both, we'll do that separately. So for the Zephyr, no tap. And as you saw, very little play. And for the Vortex, no tap. Which in my opinion is crazy cool, considering I've definitely given this some rough and tough. Because you can see from the scuff marks and whatnot, and it still held up amazing and flipped amazing. And here's why I think it's going to be the same for the Zephyr. I've heard so many people say, including Svix himself on some of the warranty info and stuff like that, this is built like a tank, man. This is built to just eat concrete all day, to quote the warranty card. But this balisong so far has been really, really great. In terms of just plain sounds, I'll try and mute that in post, see what I can do about it. But in terms of just general flippability, it's been great. It's flipped, oddly, I found it's flipped kind of similarly to the Bite Blades Titan. In terms of just picking it up and flipping it, they just feel very similar, which is pretty cool. They're actually around the same price. I think the Titan's around $195, and so is the Vortex. Now, here's the big thing between the Vortex and the Zephyr. The Vortex, $125. I actually got this blemished, so it was closer to $115. And it is this good of quality. Now, the Zephyr is a bit more expensive, coming in at around $195. I will say, in terms of price, at just face value, you'd think the Vortex is better quality, because for $125, you get a lot of the features that the Zephyr has. You get some pretty stable grip through the design on the handles. You get a crowned blade. And on the Vortex, you don't get something like a bite handle indicator, or a bite handle marker, rather. But in the same end, on the Vortex, you don't get things like, you can see the jimping on the handles there. You don't get that on the Vortex. So there's certain trade-offs that you have to do with each balisong. Obviously, the Vortex has some slimmer handles, but all in all, they're both great balisongs. I will say though, the Zephyr feels a bit heavier than the Vortex. I'll put the weights of both balisongs up on the screen now, because I don't remember them totally, in memory. But the Vortex definitely does feel a little slimmer in terms of handles. But I love the way, this is a design element of the Vortex, how it kind of branches out, and I think that's a reason why the tolerance has been so good. Same with the Vortex. The thick washers really do help in terms of tolerances. You can just, there's just zero room for tap. And they're both just wonderful. But definitely weights, the Vortex feels a little lighter than the Zephyr, but like I said, I've put them up, you'll see. However, in terms of sound, these balisongs are pretty equal. Now, I said in the Zephyr review that they're pretty much equal. I've kind of changed my views a little bit. I'm sliding a little more over to the Vortex sound. It's my favorite sound on any balisong, even the Prisma. Now, I haven't owned a Prisma. Maybe I will one day. That'd be a fun review and a fun video to make. But I think the Prisma's up there in terms of sound, but just nothing is better than this just Vortex sound. It's the closest thing. It's you know, to quote some balisong lingo, it is the nuttiest strainer I've ever heard. It is just wonderful in terms of sound. It is the closest thing I've ever heard to a live blade in terms of flipping a trainer. It's just magnificent. Now the Zephyr. The Zephyr comes darn close. I mean, that sound is just amazing. Now keep in mind, I tried to lube this a little bit before recording, and I will say, I believe me and Callie Borey had very similar thoughts on this in his Zephyr review, which you should watch. I'll try and link in the description because it's a great video. But it does eat up lube. It just absolutely gobbles up lubricant. I lubed it recently, and it sounded wonderful, and it still does. But it definitely eats it up. Within, like, at most, like an hour, it just eats up lubricant. Now, granted, it still sounds amazing without lubricant, but that lubed up Zephyr sound is just godly. It's just absolutely wonderful. And I will say the Vortex does last a little longer in terms of sound, and just kind of keeping that sound. So that's something to keep in mind. But, you know, I know sound is a very subjective thing, but if I had to give it like out of 10, the Vortex would be like a 10 out of 10 just because I love that sound. The Zephyr would be like a 9.5. I just absolutely adore both, but I'm a little biased for the Vortex because it's always been like my favorite sounding balisong. But in terms of flippability, which is probably why some of you guys are here, the Zephyr is great. It's a pretty neutral feel. I find that it does most tricks well. Granted, I've only had it for about a day, so I don't have too much in terms of, you know, actual like flipping it or in different places, and not that that would matter, but like it's not gonna flip different if I'm in a forest versus if I'm walking down the street. But in terms of just, you know, having it and getting used to it, I haven't done much of that yet just because I haven't had it for too long. But, you know, from what I've flipped it and how much I've flipped it recently, which has been fair enough, just kind of getting used to it. For about the day that I've had it, it's been really nice. It's just been a wonderful flipping experience. Now, granted, I still could be in that little honeymoon phase slightly. So like I said, I'll have to give it a little bit, and I do intend to do some updates with it eventually. But I will say, you know, having the Vortex over a year, I still really like the Vortex's flipping style. I think the Vortex does fans like no other balisong. It's just fantastic. It just fans so beautifully. But oddly enough, I was able to do a choker fan there, but that lack of jimping really does kind of not do too good in terms of fans and whatnot. See, I dropped it there. That little extra layer of jimping that the Zephyr has, it does help when it comes to chokers and stuff. It's not 100%, you know, it's not like you're gonna land a choker every single time, and you can get used to it. Like, it's not like it's bad at doing chokers, but it definitely, in terms of the Vortex, having that jimping there, you can definitely notice it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on both these balisongs. All in all, I love them both. I know there's a little bit of a price difference. Obviously the Vortex, $125, Zephyr, $195, right? There's a bit of a difference there. But, I mean, both of these balisongs, either way, are just wonderful. I mean, aesthetically and just like, you know, based on looks, I love the Vortex. I love the color of the Vortex, the anodization quality on both balisongs. I love the kukri blade of the Zephyr, as I've mentioned before. I love the blade on the, I think I mentioned in the initial unboxing, I love the blade design, how like the handles and blade have similar, you know, profiles and just designs. Both of these balisongs are wonderful on so many levels. I mean, if I had to give kind of a 10 out of 10, durability, the Vortex just has to be a 10. Or at the very least a 9.5 based on how it's handled. I mean, I've had it for almost a year, and it's still, by, you know, pretty much all senses of the word, perfect. I have a feeling that the Zephyr is going to be very similar. It seems really, really nice, and I think it's going to hold up really, really well. So I'm really happy for that too. So yeah, I would have to give, I mean, the Zephyr so far is definitely a 9.5 out of 10. I really love it. I'm really glad. The Vortex, over the year that I've had it, it's been amazing. It still is amazing. I would have to give it a 9.5, honestly. They're so similar in terms of quality. But yeah, I mean, all in all, both of these balisongs are just wonderful, and I couldn't recommend them more. If you're on a bit more of a budget, I'd recommend, if you can find a Vortex V1, maybe secondhand market, I'd get that. The Vortex V2 looks as well absolutely amazing, and if I can get my hands on one of those, you better believe I'm gonna try and review the heck out of it. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it really just, it comes down to whether you like a thicker handle in your balisong, if you like the sound more of the Zephyr, if you like the look more. In terms of tolerance, they both are pretty similar. It will just have to see, like, time will tell how tolerances hold up on the Zephyr, but I feel really good about it. I feel like we're gonna have very similar results on how the Vortex is held up. But yeah, you know, like I said a million times, these are both wonderful balisongs, and the bankers are both awesome people. So, you know, whoever you choose to, you know, support with your purchase, and, you know, whatever balisong you choose to get, I'm sure you'll love it. So thank you so much. If you made it this far in the video, I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for watching my little ramblings on the flippy knife. And as always, have a phenomenal day, ladies and gentlemen.